On this episode of What Do You Got, we're going to be talking about pain. Stay tuned.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh, yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bro Down Podcast. I'm Andy Smith.
And I'm Tim Fulton.
And this is What Do You Got? What Do You Got's when we just bring up a random topic the other person's not supposed to know about, and then we just bullshit about it for a while. This week's topic is Tim's. Tim, what is your topic?
Pain. And the different kinds of pain. Because I was thinking about it the other day. Well, earlier.
Pain.
But when this airs, that'll be a week ago. Anyway, so I feel like if you put pain on a sliding scale, it doesn't do it justice.
No.
Because there's different types of pain, right? I've been armbarred. I've been punched. I've been kicked in the balls. I know women out there have popped little children out of their woo-woos.
Yeah.
People get toothaches, which I'm currently suffering from, but very minorly. And
Yeah.
I just want your thought on the matter.
Yeah, so there is a lot of different kinds of pain. And you bring up an interesting point with different a couple different major ones that are very different, like toothache pain. When you have like a really bad toothache or a something, it's completely different than every other pain. It's the only thing that feels like that.
I read a story once, and take this with a grain of salt because I don't know names or anything, but a guy once jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge, and they found a note in his house. This was like 1800 type of shit. And they found a note in his house, and it said, for no other reason than a toothache. Because he just couldn't get relief.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I'm sure a lot of people probably did that back in the day before dentists knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
So that's one. Getting kicked in the balls is another one. That's one of those ones where like, just like, what do you call it? Like menstrual cramps and having a kid is something that only a woman could explain to another woman if they'd been through it. But it's the same thing with getting kicked in the balls, because so many times growing up, like all your friends that are girls, like how bad could it hurt? It hurts as bad as everyone says it does.
It does.
And
it does.
So bad.
Rippling.
Yeah. So bad that like, it's like tooth pain. You can't describe what it is because it's not just there that's affected. It goes everywhere. It does.
It does.
And everything, like someone could punch you in the arm after you got hit in the balls really bad, and you'll feel it in your balls.
Yeah. It's so bad that when you see someone get punched or hit in the balls,
You
feel
react.
it.
Yes.
Like, you're just like, oh, no.
Yeah. And that's a weird thing when you have different kinds of pain. For like the way I've always thought about pain is when you're a kid and you fall down, you scrape your knee, like that's the most pain you went through at that point. So you cry because it's the most pain you've ever experienced because you scraped your knee.
Yeah.
Now, as you get older, you're like, oh, scraped knee. I felt that before. It is what it is. It's just a scraped knee. Now, I think there's two things going on there. Number one, a lot of it's up here because the first time you feel it, you don't know what it is, and your brain freaks out. And your brain sends all these things saying like, hey, we're in a lot of pain. We don't know what this is.
We're on lockdown. Go, 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 go.
Exactly.
Panic. Which is funny because it created itself.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that is weird.
Yeah.
But the more that you experience the same kind of pain, depending on like the damage it's doing to your body, you get more used to it, right?
Yeah.
And it's weird because different people have different pain tolerances for certain things, and people will live with like extraordinary amounts of pain and not realize how much pain they're in until they get that thing remedied. And then they're like, oh my God.
This is normal.
Well, what's really weird about it is like you can only really explain things from your perspective, right? Because you can't feel what somebody else is going through. So coming from somebody that had multiple surgeries and stem cells and all that stuff, one of the weird things that I realized when I got my knee done. So I had my quad tendon repaired on my left knee, but both of them were torn. But the left knee was significantly worse than the right.
Okay.
And I would use the right knee to get around more than I would like when they were really hurting. And the day that I came home from surgery, I had no pain in the left knee, the one I had surgery on. If I moved it, I did, but just sitting there was like almost no pain.
Yeah.
But what happened was the brain was like, oh, that's no longer the champion. We're going to put the other knee in as the top pain thing. And it was like, now my right one hurts way more. Like, because you're not feeling the pain from the other one, your body just puts the next one at the top of the list. So you're like, oh, shit. Like, and that happens every time you get something fixed. You're like, oh, like now I feel something in somewhere else. Like,
As we're having this discussion, I'm just like, oh, no.
yeah, just feeling around. But then there's like weird things that are painful. Like, you can have extreme instances of pain for a short amount of time, but then like minor to like mediocre amounts of pain over long periods of time could drive you insane, like a headache.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you really think about a headache, like if you only had to deal with it for 5 minutes, it's
would
not
be like
that
nothing.
bad. It's not that bad. But it's like it wears you down because you can't think and all this stuff. So like once it wears down everything else, it becomes unbearable. Right? Like somebody rubbing sandpaper on the top of your hand, you're like, all right, yeah, it bothers me a little bit, but then have them do it for 2 hours. Like eventually you're going to get to the bone.
Yeah.
Like it's going to hurt. But yeah, I don't know.
Especially with when you like taking sleep into consideration, like with the headache thing, like
Yes.
yeah, you can suffer it out for 5 minutes. Maybe you can suffer out for multiple 5 minutes, and like you can just get through the motions, and then you lay down at the end of the night, and you're just like, I can't sleep.
Yeah.
There's literally a little guy with a jackhammer in the back of my head going away, and the blood is rushing to him, and he's just sitting there like pounding. That's what she said.
Yeah. It is kind of
That's
weird.
the other kind of pain.
No, it is kind of weird though.
The pleasure.
Because when you think about like, have you ever done like ice baths or anything like that?
I've never done an ice bath, but I have done cold showers. I know that's the non-extreme version, but yeah.
No, it's still relatable to a certain extent because the first time you do it, you're like, this is horrific. I can't do it. Just can't do it. Second time you do it is almost just as bad. But then like after you do that over and over again, I don't know whether your body just gets used to being like this is a thing or whether you're training your brain to just ignore that.
I don't know. That's a good question. My dad and I would always have a competition every year when I was way younger. We had a pool, and when we knew the guy who ran the pool company, and he would open the pool for us. And because we knew him, he liked to do us first. So it would be like a week before Memorial Day weekend, they would open up the pool, and it would still be fucking freezing cold.
Yeah.
Like it would be like high 40s, low 50s kind of cold. And we would have a competition on who could go into the pool first. And so like when we first started, I mean, I was like 11 or 12 years old. But like we would wait a week, and then someone would man up and jump in and come out freezing cold. And then by the end of it, like before I moved out, like they'd be removing the thing, and one of us would be jumping in, and it would be like top 40s, but like you're just used to it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, if I went to any pool on any given day, I would still do that thing that people do where they like run. No, I'm not going in yet.
Yeah.
Run. No, I'm not going in yet.
That's like a
gonna be
weird
cold.
mental. It's got to be a lot mental though, right? Because there are times when you're doing things that require. I mean, I relate a lot of things to physical exertion.
Yeah.
Where you know that if you're not in the mood to do it, it just feels harder. It hurts more. But if you can access that part of your brain that is like, this needs to get done, shut everything else off. Like, it's easier to do it.
Yeah.
And that comes down to pain in some ways, because that it essentially is pain that you're feeling, right? Like everything that you feel is pain.
You know what? You're solving a weird thing that I was going to bring up, because I feel like there are some times that there are excruciating pains that, and the UFC is a good spot to point it out. And there are excruciating pains that are tough to get through, but some guys are just like, I'm going to fight my way through this.
Yeah.
And there are other times that there are more duller pains, like mild headaches or something like that, that people are just like, I can't function as a human being until this shit goes away. And I think now that we're talking this out loud, I think part of it is what you're working towards. Because a UFC fighter, in some weird roundabout way, him continuing fighting and fighting through that pain is him getting rid of the pain.
There's a goal.
It's not just goal. The goal is stop it. If someone has you in an armbar and
That's
it hurts,
true. Yeah,
as
that's a
long as
good point.
As long as your arm doesn't break, if you fight out of that armbar, you're not in pain anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like some weird subconscious level
Good
where
word.
where that matters. But if you have a headache and you're at work and you're trying to do a goddamn tax return for some rich asshole,
Yeah.
and you're just like, I can't do this right now. You're not working to better yourself. You're just sitting there in agony, and your head knows that this is not helping.
You know what's that's really interesting how like your brain can categorize that very quickly.
Yeah.
In the moment of like, I'm in pain. If I just deal with this and do this, I can get out and relieve this pain. There is the option to just tap and then it goes away. So there's that option too, but there is a goal of not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't want to minimize how difficult that is.
No, I'm not saying that
Yeah.
you were, but there's another thing too though with that, with like the tax return when you have a headache, the situation isn't as dire. So I think your brain knows that.
Yeah.
Your brain knows like this doesn't really have to get done today. Like I'm not going to get physically fucked up if this doesn't get done today, unless you're going to get fired. But like your brain kind of knows.
Your brain works off of, like you said, physical stuff.
Yeah, and
like,
fear.
Yeah, like when you really boil it down, your brain works off of, is this going to hurt us or is this not going to hurt us? Not finishing this tax return, that's not going to hurt us.
Yeah.
It might in the long run, but your brain doesn't care about that.
And it's also like training your brain to, just like with the cold water bath, right? Like you're like, all right, I have to do this task, which is to sit in this thing for 8 minutes or whatever it is. So like for the next 8 minutes, I'm going to ignore all the things that my brain is telling me because it's bad. I don't want to listen to it because I know what's going to happen and it's not going to end bad for me. So I have to basically tell my body, like, I'm not going to die. I'm not going to go into hypothermia. I'm going to be fine. Because that's what my body's telling me. My body's telling me, get the fuck out of here. So the more that you get used to doing that, the more I guess your body wants to cooperate more with your brain or trust you maybe more, where it's like, okay, like we'll shut some of these off because you've been here before. And you've taught us to like kind of trust you when to shut this off and when not to.
That's funny. There's this concept. I'm gonna butcher this.
That's what we do here.
That's what we do. I got this off of someone I mention all the time, CGP Gray. You can find him by YouTubing him. That's the end of my statement. There's this concept of big brain and little brain. Your consciousness is big brain.
Okay.
But little brain has certain functions. And when you go to bed at night, so my whole point is that I think little brain is in charge of pain. But when you go to bed at night...
So it's like your lizard brain. Shit that you don't control that your brain just does? Like that's kind of it?
Kind of.
Okay.
So when you go to bed at night, big brain shuts down. And he goes into dreamland, and he does all that sort of stuff, and he gets rest. So little brain's in charge. And little brain doesn't know a lot, but it knows what it knows. So it knows repeated patterns. So if you have a significant other, and they come into bed with you, you might not wake up. Because you're used to the bed rattling. You're used to an arm coming across your stomach. You're used to repeated patterns.
It's trained like this isn't danger. This is familiar.
Yes, this is familiar. But if you do not have a significant other and you feel your bed rattling, you may wake. Your little brain might be like, yo, and it might do it in a way that's like, let's get up now, or it might just be like, hey, dream. There's a thing going on here. So I wonder if little brain is in charge of those little like pain things where like if you take ice baths, it's like, all right, if I'm cold for 8 minutes, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with cold for 8 minutes. We survive that.
Yeah.
We survive that all the time.
Because it's got to be one of those, it has to be at least some of that. Because if you felt the same way about getting in an ice bath every time as the first time you did it, it would be just as hard as the first time you did it. But it's not.
It's not.
It's not. And it's the same thing with like, endurance runners or bicyclists, like, you know, every time the first time that they did something, like their body must have been screaming at them like, stop this. And it's not necessarily that they weren't in the shape they needed to be to do it. It's just they'd never done it before.
Yeah.
So their body hadn't gone through that before, so they didn't know like their body wasn't sure about how to go through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's one of those weird things where, like, you know how like they'll have a record, and then the record stands forever, and then one person breaks it, and then everyone breaks it. It's like that 3-minute mile or whatever it was. It was the 3-minute mile or 2-minute mile, whatever it was. It stood forever, and then one dude broke it, and then all of a sudden, like, a lot of people were breaking it. So it's like, I don't know, like there's like some kind of relationship to what, like, your conscious but also your subconscious brain when it comes to pain.
It's like
And
a
I don't
mind
think you
over
really
matter
have
thing.
control over that, because you can't just tell it like, oh, feel more pain if you don't feel it.
Yeah, and vice versa. You can't just be like, headache, go bye-bye.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
which is dumb. Which is dumb, because, like, part of me wants to be like, when you get a headache, you're like, all right, I'm probably dehydrated. There's probably something like that going on. I need to eat well, I need to drink, and I need to rest. Brain, I got it. I can do those things. I'll even do them now, I promise you. I'll eat some food,
Yeah.
I'll drink some water, and I'll go lay down. And little brain is still just like, but no, pain. Pain, 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 pain.
You know what? How about this? Headaches are one of the weirdest ones because most people can't function properly with a headache. Even people that are really good at ignoring pain. It's almost like your brain is like, it's misfiring, like, hey, we can't push through this because our the thing that's usually pushing through this is fucked up.
It's funny that we're talking about this because I had a headache last weekend when we were working.
Yeah.
And I have a relatively high pain threshold. I
Yeah.
always have. I'm not like pain intolerant by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah,
I
but you're not
always-
a pussy.
Yeah. And same thing. I had to leave. I literally had to leave
Yeah.
because all I could think about was going to the shower, taking a hot shower, like relaxing whatever the frig was wrong with me and resolving that problem.
It's probably
and
your face.
And, well, yeah.
No, the headache might have been your face.
The precursor?
Like, you might have had one because of your toothache.
No, that maybe, yeah.
Looking back on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the headache is one of those weird things because it's everything in your brain is literally telling you, I'm fucked up. Like, you need to fix me first because I control everything else. Like, even your subconscious, I control that too, bitch. Like, you need to fix me before we go pushing through any other shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is really weird because think about, like, people that cut weight for competitions. Like, they must always have headaches because they're dehydrated.
Yeah.
And they still...
Well,
oof.
yeah, no, you would know more about that than I would.
I'm assuming because most people, when they get dehydrated, they get a horrible headache.
Yeah, but I would assume that would be nearing the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm just saying for the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What's the takeaway from this?
yeah, what's the takeaway from this? So
Treat your body right. Eat well.
so I mean, in most cases, it's better to have a high pain tolerance than not a high pain tolerance, right?
I would think so, as long as you're smart and you respond to your body, because pain almost always means issue. I'm not even talking like obvious issue. You get kicked in the balls. All right, the issues. You got kicked in the balls.
Yeah.
But I don't like that. I'm talking like if you have chronic headaches.
Yes. My point more so is like, it's better to it's better to listen to your body.
Yeah.
But it's also better to have the card of like, if I must not listen to it, I can.
Yeah. I can truck on through.
Yeah, I can ignore this and keep going. But it does kind of go away though. Like, if you took ice baths every day for 5 years and then you stopped for 5 years, it's not like you just like you did like.
Again, I think that's big brain, little brain thing.
But it wouldn't be as hard as just doing it again for the first time, I don't think.
I don't know. I don't have the experience. I can't weigh in.
That's an interesting one. Pain.
I thought you would like this one.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let us know what you think about pain in the
Pain.
comment section down below. Don't forget to go to brodownpro.com. We have new stuff coming out all the time, including soon. I can't reveal when, but relatively soon, I believe something new will be popping up if it hasn't already.
All you nerds are going to lose your shit.
Yeah, you nerdy guys are going to love this. Also, did you know that you can come up with your own What Do You Got segment? We have a little portal on our website where you can submit a thing. You can leave your name if you so choose, and we will let you know when it airs. And when we talk about it, please make it good.
Or dumb. We're done.
We're done. And we need more topics. We've been talking about pain for 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's okay. It's all good.
We'll catch you guys next time.
It's been painful.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all